Hi class, this is lesson 12-2, surface area of prisms and cylinders. So we're going to be looking at the surface area. So a prism is a polyhedron with two congruent faces called bases. And we talked about what a prism was in 12-1, that lie in parallel planes. The other faces, called lateral faces, so lateral usually means sides, but lateral faces are parallelograms formed by connecting the corresponding vertices of the bases. So our lateral faces are these pieces on the side that I'm doing in green here. Those are my lateral faces. And then my bases, I'm going to put them in red, this up here along the top, that's one of my bases, and down here at the bottom I've got another base. It's my other base. It says the segments connecting these vertices are lateral edges. The surface area of a polyhedra is the sum of the areas of all its faces, which makes sense. If we find the area of each face and add them all up, that's going to be the total surface area. The lateral area is the sum of all its lateral faces only. So the lateral area I think of as like the side area. Next here it says the net is the unfolded representation of a figure. What figures are these nets for? So if you can take and imagine folding these up. Okay, here's a base, and I'm going to move this up and this up and this up and this up, and then this is going to come all the way over to the top. It would look something like that. So what's that going to be? Well, that's going to be a cube, since they're all the same size. The next one, these are going to actually be my two bases, and this is going to come around. So I'm going to have two bases, and then they're going to come around the outside like that. So this is going to be a cylinder. And this one, here, these would be my two bases. And then these would be, these three pieces right here would be my lateral edges, or my lateral faces. And if I fold that up, that's going to be a triangular prism. So let's talk about right prisms here. It says a right prism has each lateral edge perpendicular to both bases. A prism with lateral edges that are not perpendicular to the bases is an oblique prism. So an oblique prism would be one that's kind of like, if I've got my two things here, and it's kind of going sideways. Okay, so these are not at right angles. So theorem 12.12, the surface area of a right prism, the surface area S of a right prism is S equals 2B plus capital P times H. And we're not going to do this one right here. So we're not going to worry about our apothem. But B is the area of the base, and P is the perimeter of the base, and then H is the height. Which makes sense, 2 times B, because I've got two bases right here. So that's my 2B right there. And then if I do the perimeter of one of the bases times the height, that would be like taking this outside edge, taking our lateral faces and unfolding them like this, and my perimeter would be this length right here, and my height would be up here. Okay, so let's do some problems. It says find the surface area of the right prism. So to find my surface area, I know my surface area equals 2 times the base area plus my perimeter of my base times my height. So my base is going to be these two triangles right here. Those are my bases. So to find the area, my B, my base area, that's 1/2 base times the height for a triangle. So it's going to be 1/2. My base of that triangle is 6, but I don't know what this height is going to be. So I need to find I need to find this height right here. So I can think of this as a right triangle. Just look at half of it. This hypotenuse would be 6, and the bottom of my little triangle right here, just right here, is going to be half of that 6, which is 3. So as we've done many, many times, we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem to find this missing side length. So my hypotenuse squared equals my leg squared plus my leg that I want to find squared. So I'll subtract 3 squared from both sides. So I've got 6 squared, that's 36, minus 3 squared, that's 9, that's 27, equals x squared. So we'll take the square root of both of them. So my side length is the square root of 27. And I could reduce that as a radical, but I'm just going to keep it the square root of 27 for now. So my height is the square root of 27, which I found down there. All right, so my base area is 1/2 times 6, which is 3, times the square root of 27. So I'm going to do 2 times my base area, which is 3 times the square root of 27, plus, now I need the perimeter of my base. So this is my base, here's my perimeter. All those sides are 6, so my perimeter is 6 plus 6 plus 6. So my perimeter there is 18. So I'm going to put 18 in for perimeter times the height of my shape is 8. So my surface area is 2 times my bases, because I have 2 bases there, plus my perimeter of my base times the height. So if you just put that all into your calculator and simplify, you'll get 175 and 18 tenths. And we're talking about area again. It's surface area, but it's still area, so our unit would be inches squared. You should pause it and try the next one on your own. Okay, this one says find the surface area of a right rectangular prism. So I'm going to make a rectangular prism. I'm just going to kind of lay it on its side right here. It's going to be back behind there, so I'll try and make it dotted. So there's my right rectangular prism. It says it's got a height of 5 feet. So I'm going to have this be my height, 5 feet. A length of 11 feet. Oh, so this isn't real accurate. And then a width of 4 feet. So if that 5 is my height, that would make this piece my base right here. This is my height, and here, this is my base. And then I'd have another base in the background back there. So I've got 2 bases, so I need to know that my surface area is 2 times my base area plus my perimeter of my base times my height. So my surface area equals 2 times my base area. Well, this is a rectangle, so base equals the base times the height, so 11 times 4. So my base area is 44. So it's 2 times 44 plus my perimeter. Well, my perimeter here, I've got 2 sides that are 11 and 2 sides that are 4. So my perimeter of my base is going to be 30. So plus 30 times my height of 5. So simplifying all of this, putting all that into your calculator, you will find that your surface area equals 238 feet squared. And that's our answer. So let's look at cylinders now. Let's look at cylinders. So a cylinder is a solid with congruent circular. So a circular bases that lie in parallel planes. As usual, the height of a cylinder is the perpendicular distance between its bases. And we've got a picture right down here. So my height would be the perpendicular distance between the bases here, and these are my 2 bases. So for this one, it says the surface area, whoops, didn't mean to write there, the surface area S of a right cylinder is S equals 2 times the base plus C times H. Now, I want to show you where this is coming from. So we said before surface area equals 2 times our base area plus our perimeter times our height. Well, since I have a circle here, my base is the area of a circle, which is pi r squared. So we have 2 times pi r squared plus, again, since it's a circle, my perimeter is the circumference. So instead of p, we're going to say circumference times the height. But for circumference, we know that that is 2 pi times our radius. So, I shouldn't have crossed that out. It shouldn't. I don't want you guys to think that's supposed to be crossed out. It's not letting me erase right now. It's okay. Oh wow, so surface area is 2 times the base plus circumference. That's where the C comes from, because the circumference is the perimeter of a circle. You could write 2 times...
Madonna Sato, please come to the switchboard.
You could write 2 times pi r squared plus 2 pi r times the height. That's another way you could write this. And this is just saying this is my base. It's the area of a circle. And this is my perimeter of that circle. So let's use this. Let's turn the page. All right, example 2 here. It says, find the area of the cylinder to the right. So my formula is S equals 2 times the base plus the circumference times the height. So my surface area equals 2 times my base. So my base, it's a circle, so it's pi r squared, and my radius is 4. So base equals pi times 4 squared. Well, that's 16 pi. So my base is 16 pi. So 2 times 16 pi plus my circumference. The circumference equals 2 pi times the radius. So my circumference equals 2 pi times 4, or that's 8 pi. So plus circumference, that's 8 pi times the height, which is 5. And if you just put that all into your calculator and simplify, you'll find the surface area is 226 and 19 hundredths, and my unit here would be meters squared. All right, you should pause it and try the next one. All right, this problem right here says find the surface area of a right cylinder with a height of 9 centimeters and a radius of 6 centimeters. So here's my circle. I know my radius here is 6, and my height is 9 centimeters. So my formula, surface area equals 2 times my bases, because I have 2 bases, plus the circumference times the height. So let's fill this in. So my surface area equals 2 times, well, my base, it's a circle, so it's pi times our radius squared. So it's pi times 6 squared, well, that's 36 pi. So 2 times 36 pi plus my circumference is 2 pi r. So circumference is 2 pi times my radius, which is 6. So that's 12 pi. So 12 pi times my height is 9. If you put that all in your calculator and simplify it, you'll find our surface area is 565 and 49 hundredths, and my units there is centimeters squared. All right, for this one it says find the height of the right cylinder shown, which has a surface area of 198 and 8/10 millimeters squared. So this one's a little different because the question is saying find the height, and they give us our surface area here. So for this shape, we know our surface area equals 2 times the base plus the circumference times the height. And this is what we're going to be solving for. So I can put 198 and 8/10 in for my surface area. 2 times my base, let's find that. It's a circle, so it's pi times my radius squared. So it's 2.8 squared times pi. So I've got 2.8 squared. Just going to put that in here, times pi, plus my circumference. Circumference equals 2 pi times my radius. So 2 pi times 2.8. So 2.8 times 2 is 5.6 pi. That's my circumference. So plus 5.6 pi times my height. So now we need to solve for all of this. So let's do this one step at a time here. Let's first take this piece and move it to the other side. So I have 198 and 8/10 minus 2 times 2.8 squared times pi. So that's been moved. This equals 5.6 pi times my height. I'm still trying to get this height alone, so I need to move that 5.6 pi. So to undo multiplying, I'm going to divide both sides by 5.6 pi. So those will cancel out. My height equals, now my height's all alone, so take all of this and put it into your calculator. Remember, you should have parentheses around the bottom there. You should find that your height is 8.5 and my units would be millimeters. And we're going to stop right here. We're not going to do this last example. Make sure if you have any questions, you ask me about it, and have a great night.